And the first thing that I start my client sessions with is when they come in, they're clearly anxious when they first come in, because A, they've got their anxiety, but now they're coming in to see a hypnotist who may zap them in some way, and they're anxious about that as well. So I'll start off by using a technique that is going to bring down their anxiety. And there's a number of reasons for doing that. A, it proves that what I'm saying works, because they can literally bring down their anxiety levels. But it also starts the process going, and I'm teaching them something which I want them to do as homework. Now, if you look at some of the studies that have been done on anxiety, anxiety is primarily a left brain phenomena. There's, they've done MRI scans on people with anxiety disorders. What they found is that the left hemisphere is kind of lit up like a Christmas tree. There's extra blood flow to that left side. And that kind of makes sense because on the left side here above the ear, you've got the Broca's area, which is the speech center. Now, how do you do anxiety? Well, one of the ways of doing anxiety is you have to speak to yourself really, really quickly. You have to have an internal dialogue that's going really, really quickly. You're basically talking to yourself at 100 miles an hour, really, really quickly. Oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, look at this. Look, oh my God, I'm having anxiety like I did last week. And it's so quickly. And that's how they're creating the anxiety. So the left hemisphere is really dominant and the right hemisphere is kind of sitting there doing nothing. So one of the things was many, many years ago, when I first trained in NLP, Richard Bandler was talking about some of the techniques he first started using when he was working with people with phobias back in the 70s. And he started talking about the sort of bilateral stimulation exercises that they would use. And they would use passing a ball from one hand to another. And I thought, and it was like a technique, it was just a throwaway thing that he mentioned in passing. And then I noticed a couple of other people had obviously taken up on this. And I started putting it into practice. So basically how it works is your left hemisphere controls your right side of your body. Your right hemisphere controls the left side of your body. And in your hands, you've got huge amounts of nerve cells. They take up a huge amount of the brain's capacity. I don't know if you've ever seen one of the homunculus of the nervous system. There's like the little man, and he's got these massive, great hands, big lips, big genitals, but everything else is really, really tiny because it shows where all the nerves are. And so you've got a huge amount of nerve cells in your hands. So that takes up a huge amount of brain's capacity. So we're affected by our past. Now, that can include things like trauma. And it can include other emotions such as remorse, regret, guilt, and shame. Now, what I do with my clients is I've got a big whiteboard in my office, and I say to them, I've just taken some few basic details from them, you know, how long has the anxiety been going on? And if they say, well, it's been going on, say, 3 years, I'll say, okay, what happened 3 years ago? And it may be that there was a trauma, and straight away we know what we're working with. But oftentimes people will just give a normal description, or they'll have loads of things. But at this point, I'm not looking to take a huge detailed personal history. I just want the basic points. So then I'll say, I'll get to my flip chart or my whiteboard, and I say, okay, I'm going to make a prediction. We're affected by our past, and that could include trauma, remorse, regret, and guilt and shame. And then I'll say what that does is that gives energy to our future. And that gives us anxiety, panic, and worry. Because anxiety, panic, and worry are always about the future. You can't be anxious about something that happened 5 years ago. It's always about what you imagine in the future. But then that gives energy to what we experience in the present, which is typically anger and frustration. And many of the clients will look at that and go, that's my life.
Yeah.
And I say, well, I've done this before, you know.
Yeah.
And I say, but the thing is, it doesn't end here. Because when you get this anger and frustration on a daily basis and you shout and scream at the people you care about, then what that does is it comes back here and gives us more remorse, regret, guilt, and shame. And so it becomes a loop.
Wasn't that absolutely fantastic? I'm sure that you found a lot of information in this very short video you just saw, maybe like 4 or 5, 6 minutes, however long it was. But that is not all. You can have access to the entire presentation of this amazing speaker, plus 40 more other presentations and speakers, and you can have access for life. You can have access to the video recording, to the audio recording, to the swipe files, to the transcripts, to all of the bonuses and the special gifts that all of the speakers and presenters and also the organizers are offering in the Premium Pass package. So if you like this, if you want more, make sure to sign up below for the Premium Pass and have lifetime access to everything. I'm sure it'll be one of the best investments you've ever made in your life, in yourself, in your practice, in your health, and also with working with clients. So go ahead, click on the button below and sign up for the Premium Pass, and we'll see you on the other side.